episode 45 of the Arctic Crafts podcast. My name is Bente and I'm coming to you from Vesterålen, northern Norway, where I live with my husband and 3 cats. You can find me on Instagram as Arctic Crafts, on Facebook and Etsy as Arctic Crafts by Bente, and on Ravelry as Arctic Crafts 65. This podcast also has a group on Ravelry. Just search for Arctic Crafts and you'll find it. I also have a coffee page where you can buy me a cup of coffee and help me pay for postage for prices that I send out and equipment for the podcast. It's been a month since I last recorded and I haven't started my vlogmas like I was supposed to. The reason is my mother passed away. The reason why I'm telling you this as an explanation is that although I posted about this on Instagram, all of my subscribers probably don't follow me on Instagram, so I sort of thought I owed you an explanation. I'm going to do vlogmas, but I'm not starting until the coming Sunday, which is the 3rd Sunday of Advent. So hopefully you haven't given up on my vlogmas and still want to tag along while I do the last Christmas preparations. All my Christmas preparation has been put on hold anyway because I've had a lot of other things to take care of. So I finally can get on with my Christmas preparations. I feel like I could probably use another week or so before I started doing stuff, but Christmas is coming on December 24th, no matter what I do, and I decided to podcast and do vlogmas because I think I need something to just give me something else to think about. So here I am with episode 45. Because it's a month since the last time, I have a few things to talk about. We have some admin. We have 2 make-alongs running in the group on Ravelry and on Instagram. At least one of them is also on Instagram. And one is the Arctic Crafts year-long make-along, where you can enter anything and everything you've made with my yarn, and you're eligible for a prize. And the last drawing this year is December 31st. My hair is all over the place. I should have had a haircut by now, but I've had other things to worry about. The other make-along is Treat Yourself, and that's a selfish make-along. If you want to knit something or crochet something for yourself instead of doing all this obligation knitting and gift knitting, you can participate in this make-along. It's the hashtag is Treat Yourself MKAL 2021, and the reason why it's called that is the deadline is January 31st next year. And accessories like hats, mitts, socks have to be finished by the deadline. But if you're knitting a garment, you don't have to be completely finished with it. And whips are allowed. And this is where a giveaway comes in, because one of the people that have donated a prize for the make-along has also donated a pattern for a giveaway. And the designer is FlowerBird Designs on Ravelry, and she has a lot of gorgeous patterns. And the giveaway is really simple. You just go into her pattern store on Ravelry, and you find, that's a really nice one, that's my favorite, and you just write that in the thread on Ravelry. And I'll draw a winner before my next podcast, and she has also donated pattern prices for the make-along, and that's FlowerBird Designs. I have gotten other prices for the make-along as well, but I'll show you those in show and tell at the end of the episode. And seeing as this is a knitting podcast, maybe we should start talking about some knitting. I have a few FOs to show you, but nothing major, just bits and pieces. Sorry about the crinkling, I just have to move stuff away. I started this, some of these projects started with me clearing out my yarn stash with commercial yarn, and I found some Cascade 220 that was left over from when I knit the golden hour, and I figured this is probably enough for a hat. So I knit the Irma hat, and this is about true to color. This is a pattern by, have to check my show notes, a pattern by Aneta Gasiorowska, not sure how to pronounce that. And it was a really fun, quick knit. Looks like I have to hold them up to the camera to show you the color because it blows out back here. I'm still experimenting with the lighting, so that might change, but it's not daylight anymore, not proper daylight anyway, and so I have to use artificial lighting, and I just got this lamp, so I have to experiment a bit. So that's the Irma, and I had leftovers in two different brown colors as well. The colors reminded me of coffee, so I just made up a pattern to look like coffee beans. And I realize now that if these were red, they'd look like lips. So this, there's no pattern for this because this is something I dreamt up while I was knitting it. So, coffee bean hat? I'm not sure what to call it. But this is the only one that's ever going to exist. So this is a unique hat. It might be for me, I'm not sure. And this is rather stupid because I have the beginning of row in front, and that doesn't look good. That's not a good look. So maybe hubby gets this one, or I can just give it away as a Christmas present. So that's the two hats I have finished. I also finished a pair of socks, and that's I finished 3 pairs of socks. But this is the Cornish cream socks by Helen Stewart, and these are knit in Regia Premium Merino Yak, and they're really soft and gorgeous, and these are for me. And now that I have shown them on the podcast, I can start wearing them. It's a bit Christmassy, this color as well. And speaking of Christmas socks, I've knit 2 pairs of Christmas socks. I've knit a pair in my own Christmas colorway, Fairy Tale of New York, and the pattern is the Prairie Socks by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears, and it's a 64 stitch 2.25 needle. I forgot to tell you, but that's the same with the Helen Stewart socks. And I've also knit 1 more pair of Christmas socks, and these are a vanilla pair that I've knit in my usual sock recipe. It's 64 stitches on 2.25 needles, and I used the heel from the Hermione's Everyday Socks. And this colorway is called Merry Grinchmas, and it's by Nicole C. Mendes, and she's one of my favorite self-striping dyers. And this is a really good. It's really soft. She calls it her shiny sock. It's tencel. There's tencel in this, and it's really, really gorgeous. And now I'm going to put them into my Christmas sock box, because I'm actually going to have a few pairs, because I have 2 pairs of Christmas socks on the needles. But I could show you those. I could show you my whips now, because I think I am finished with my FOs, or I have a bunch of little FOs, so I can show you those as well, because I'm doing Christy Houghton's 24 Days of Christmas Ornament knit along. She's also known as Yarn Cafe Creations, and I have an advent calendar from my friend Sue in Canada, and every day I knit up a tiny sock, because you get 1 pattern a day from Christy. So I knit a tiny little sock with the yarn from Sue every day. And I'm knitting the first 5 or 6 days. You got the pattern early in the day, so I managed to knit them as the same day. But the last couple of days it has arrived late in the evening. So now I'm knitting on yesterday's pattern. And I haven't gotten very far on that, so I'll just show you the finished socks. I'm not sure about the order of these now, and as you can see I haven't woven in all the ends. But there's a new pattern every day, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these. I was thinking about making a garland, but I decided against it, so I'll probably put in some white sewing thread and hang them on the tree. Probably. And it's a lot of fun. It's a quick knit, and I brought with me, when we went to Trøndelag for my mother's funeral, I brought with me the 3 advent days of yarn, and I knit on my tiny socks, because it was kind of therapy with everything happening, that I had a tiny little knitting project to work on every day. And this is how far I've gotten on today's sock, and this is it so far. And this is the pattern for the 10th, because it arrived late last night, so I couldn't bother to start them. And what I'm doing with the rest of those, as I finish the sock, I have more than half the 20 gram mini left, and that goes into my crochet blanket. So this is where I am on that now, and you can tell where I started with my advent, because that's where the piece of cake is, the progress keeper. Everything above that is my advent calendar. So I'm having so much fun, and the progress keeper is there to show me how much I can get done with the advent calendar. And it's going to be so nice when the blanket is finished to know that a part of the yarn was gifted by my friend Sue. So that's also a whip. It's been hibernating for quite some time, but I finally am working on it again. And we have some more whips. I told you I was working on some more Christmas socks. This bag is from Gibberoo Sue's, and I really love this bag because those gnomes on the fabric reminds me so much of the Norwegian Nisse. So I really love it. And this is a gift from, the yarn is a gift from my friend Sue in Canada. You see a pattern here. Me and Sue, we keep giving each other stuff. So this was in my Christmas present box, but I was allowed to take this skein of sock yarn and some more yarn that I'm showing you in show and tell right away, so I could start knitting on some Christmas socks. And the yarn is by Comfy Cozy Knits. And the colorway is Pink Christmas. And you would think she knows me, because I love pink. And as you can see there, the white isn't all white. It has some specks of neons in it, and the heel is a neon green. And you can't tell how neon it is, but it's a neon green. So that's one, and the Progress Keeper, by the way, is also a present from Sue. So that's one of my Christmas socks. And I suddenly remembered something. I haven't told you what I'm wearing. I'll just do that quickly before I show you any more knitting. This is the Rift by Jacqueline Sislak. And it's knit with limited edition yarn from Drops. And because it was limited edition, it doesn't exist anymore. But it's kind of a thick and thin construction. And I love the color. It's really Christmassy. So that's what I'm wearing. As you can tell, my brain is all over the place. Maybe I'm rusty, and maybe I've had a lot of other things to think about. Some coffee will help, I'm sure. And then the other whip, Christmas whip. This is West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply. And the colorway is Candy Cane. And this is my normal sock recipe, as was the Comfy Cozy Knits. It's 64 stitches on 2.25 needles, and when I knit vanilla socks like this, I prefer using 9-inch circulars. And you can see I've marked where I'm putting in my heel. I don't like long legs on socks, so here's where my heel is going. I'm going to do an afterthought heel on these, and I'm going to use the same yarn so I get the bullseye effect on the heel. Because the reason why I'm not doing these really long in the leg is because these are going to be house socks. I wear knitted socks instead of slippers. When I go outside, I use longer socks, because I do knit longer socks as well, although you wouldn't think it. But I knit longer socks as well, and the Merry Grinchmas socks are longer. And speaking of longer socks, here I have a pair that's going to be much longer. But these have been put aside for now, because I have the Christmas socks to do. But I probably will pick these up again during Christmas. And this is a new pattern by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears, and it's called Dunbroch. And the yarn is Nora George Corriedale sock, and it's a yarn I bought ages ago. This is really deep stash, and that's, as I was saying, that's kind of hibernating, because and I was just telling you that I prefer to use 9-inch on vanilla socks. As you can tell, I use them on patterned socks as well sometimes. Depends on the pattern really. But sometimes I use DPNs, sometimes I use 9-inch circulars. So that's the other sock whip. And that's the whips I'm actively working on. I, of course, you know me, I of course have loads of other whips, but they're not being worked on these days. So that's what I'm doing. I'm knitting advent socks, crocheting advent skeins into a blanket, and knitting Christmas socks. and that's about it. I'm not gifting any knitting for Christmas this year. I might do, but then it's going to be just, I'm going to pick from the gift pile, because I have a big box of socks that I can use as presents, and I also have the 2 hats I just knit as possible presents, so I don't think I have to knit anything for gifts this year. I'm going to do like I'm telling you to do. I'm going to be selfish and only knit for myself. So that's what I have for whips, and then we'll start with the show and tell. But before I do the show and tell, I'm going to do some shameless self-promotion, as the fat squirrel calls it, because I have 2 exciting things happen in the new year. My Arctic Seasons was supposed to have a winter edition, but for obvious reasons that's not going to happen. And although I was a bit sad about that, I started thinking, can I do something else instead? And I decided to continue my Arctic Seasons, but this time as a monthly box. So it's going to be a mystery skein every month in 2021. And the biggest difference between this and the seasons that came out quarterly is that this is going to be only yarn. Just a skein of yarn. Maybe a progress keeper, but basically just a skein of yarn. The brilliant thing is that you're going to have different bases to choose from. The first, sorry about that, I just got a message. I forgot to put my, I'm just going to turn the sound off on my mobile phone so we don't have that happen again. So there. Where was I? Arctic Seasons. So Arctic Seasons January will have, you can choose between Polldale Sock, XR Merino DK, that's my DK with nylon in it, and Fine Merino Worsted. And those are the 3 bases you can choose from. You'll get the same colorway as everybody else, but you get to choose your own base. When it's getting warmer, coming out into spring and summer, there will probably be several different fingering bases to choose from. But because it's winter, I'm thinking socks, hats, mitts, stuff like that. So that's why I'm doing those 3 bases. And this is going to be put up in the shop December 20th, taken down December 31st, and I'll start dyeing the first week in January, and hopefully I'll have the yarn out shipped by the 10th of January. And I'm going to do it like this every month. I'm going to put up the next month around the 20th and closing it on the last of the month. And they're going to have really exciting names. The first one is called Arctic Seasons January. So I was trying to come up with all sorts of fanciful names, but ended up with just using the name of the dates of the months, sorry. As I was saying, I'm rusty. So that's coming up now. I don't have a shop update now. I won't be dyeing more yarn this year because I'm so behind with all the Christmas preparations, and I need some time to relax and get back on my feet after the beginning of this month, because 2020 has been one of those years, and the November and December have also been kind of dreary. So speaking of that, I am not doing a shop update, but I have lots of stock in my shop. And Resilience, the colorway, the charity colorway, where I donate €2 for every sold skein to the Norwegian Cancer Society, I have that in stock as well. And Sue, my good friend in Canada, bought a skein of Resilience on the day of my mother's funeral, and that was a really lovely gesture. So thank you for that, Sue, and thank you to the other people that bought Resilience. I've already made 2 donations to the Norwegian Cancer Society. And that's it for the shameless self-promotion. I did it now. I could have waited until the end, but I remembered now, so I needed to tell you. And see, I'm rusty and my brain is a mess, so I forgot the other self-promotion. Me and Jibby Rousseau's have enjoyed our collaboration so much, so we decided to do another one for Valentine's. And the yarn is already dyed and on its way to Michelle in England, and the bags are already made and are on their way to me. We have learned, so we decided to be early this time, so we don't have the stress we had for the Christmas when we had to postpone the update in the shop with a day because the mail service wasn't cooperating with us. So it's for Valentine's. I can tell you what it's called. It's called Love Story, and that's it. It's going up in our shops in middle of January, depending on when it's going to be on a Sunday, on a shop update Sunday perhaps, but around the 15th of January it's going up in our shops. So I've told you that as well, and now we can go into show and tell. I have gotten some yarn in the mail. I'll show you that first. I told you that I've gotten more yarn from Sue than the Advent skein and the other yarn, because some dyers are kind of exclusive, and to me at least, and kind of precious because I can't get the yarn because it's just too expensive with shipping and VAT and customs and everything. So Sue decided to gift me some from her stash, and one is this beauty. It's from Gauge Dye Works, although when she bought this skein they were called Green Caterpillar, and this is a custom skein for one particular shawl. So I'm really excited to try this because it's basically supposed to change colors according to the pattern, or at least that's how I understand it. So that's going to be exciting. I'll put up a picture of the shawl so you can see what it looks like. And the other yarn she sent me is this shawl kit by Hugh Loco, and there's a pattern to this shawl as well, and because hubby was nice enough or kind enough, Sue told me I had to make hubby open the box and give me just the stuff I was supposed to have, and that's these 3 skeins of yarn plus the Advent skein. Thing is, in the box is also a pattern for these shawls. It's also in the box. I haven't got the patterns, so but I'm not going to start knitting on these anyway until the new year, so for now I'll just have to cuddle the yarn. And I've gotten one more skein in the mail, and it's from Nicole C. Mendes. It's her Harry Potter club, and this colorway is called Petrificus Totalus, and I pronounce that in Norwegian Latin or something, but you can see what it's called. It's from Harry Potter. It's the name of a spell, I think, or I know it's the name of a spell. So that's the Harry Potter Club from Nicole C. Mendes, and this is also in her shiny sock, and that's 60% wool and 40% tencel, and it's so soft, and she calls it shiny sock. And the last thing I'm going to show you, wait a minute, I also told you I was going to show you some prices for the treat yourself make along. I think I have more prizes on the way, and if anybody out there, a maker watching this, wants to donate a prize for this make along or for any other make alongs I'm doing or a giveaway, please get in touch with me, and I would really appreciate it. This is one of the 2 prizes I've already received, and this is from Frøken Petrine in Svolvær. She's one half of the podcast Pippi og Petrine, and that's a really fun podcast. It's in Norwegian, but those of you that understand Norwegian, you should check them out. And she always uses reclaimed, I think you call it reclaimed, fabrics for her bags. So this is recycling at its finest. And that is a bag from Frøken Petrine. I also have one more prize donation that's also from a Norwegian maker. And this is a package with lots of goodies. It's a sock bag and a skein of sock yarn that matches, and as you can see, her name is Naturheksa. She's the Mystic Knitter on Instagram, and together with this yarn and the bag, you get a progress keeper. I'm not taking it out of the bag, this is a really nice bag, and you get these 2 progress keepers. And there's of course some tea in here, and her Etsy shop is called Naturheksa. I'm going to link her shop underneath the video, and I'm going to link Frøken Petrine as well. And those are the 2 prizes I have received so far. This is going to be a total mess, but I'm not going to edit it because I'm a squirrel today, so I forget things and then I suddenly remember things, and I'll just take it as it comes. You have to bear with me. I'm going to try to be a little more professional the next time. And then we're getting to what I was going to tell you before I suddenly remember to show you the prices. My mother lived in Namsos in Trøndelag, and as soon as we had cleared out her apartment, we drove from Namsos to Verdal, where my husband is from, and we stayed there for a day. And one of my favorite local yarn shops is in Verdal, and I had to go there for some retail therapy, of course. And I'll first show you the yarn I got. It's not hand dyed or anything, but it's really nice. This is a new to me brand, Salida, and as you can tell, it's really sparkly. And this one is for Sue in Canada, because it's got loads of beautiful greens. And so this is for Sue, and this is for me, and I think this is kind of Christmassy colors. So this is also going to be Christmas socks, but I think I have to finish a couple of the pairs I'm knitting on first. But this is going to be Christmas socks. And they also had 6-ply. One of my favorite commercial sock yarns is Grindel Hot Socks. And they had Grindel Hot Socks in 6-ply. So I'm going to knit. So this is going to go much faster, because You can knit it on bigger needles. And this pair is for hubby because he wanted some colorful socks. And these are for me. And again, I probably have to wait. The colorways are, this is the color number 8. Trying to focus. This is what it's going to look like knitted up. So that's colorway number 8. And this is going to look like that knitted up. And that's number 6. So that's those two. And I also bought myself some knitting needles because I figured I needed some shorter circulars, fixed circulars in my favorite needles, Knit Pro Sings. I already have one that's 4, but I figure I need another one. So I already have one in 3.5 as well, but this is a new one, 4.5. So these are perfect for sleeves on sweaters. You could also use them for hats, but especially sleeves on sweaters. These are great for those. And the last thing I bought was a bit expensive, but as I was saying, retail therapy. Oh, sorry, I knocked. Hope you didn't get seasick. This is the last thing I bought. And it's so difficult to show lime green on camera, but trust me, this is lime green. So it's a bit more neon than it looks. And this is a really fun, I'm not sure what you're gonna, it's for holding your fixed circulars. And it's by Lovely Planet, and it's fair trade. It's made in Nepal. And strikkelykke is Norwegian, and it means knitting happiness. And it's really well made, and you have all these pockets for your fixed circulars. And I've written the sizes on top, and I just throw my fixed circulars down here in the pockets. And this is where my Knit Pro Sings are going. As soon as I finished the podcast, I'm going to put them in here so I know where I have them. I also have several fixed circulars all around the apartment, so as I find new ones, I'm putting them in here so I have everything in one place. So that's that one. And that's what I've got. That's my acquisitions, and I don't have anything else to show you. I'm just going to apologize for being all over the place today. That's what happens when a month goes by without me doing this, so I have loads of stuff to talk about, and my show notes are kind of sketchy to be. It's not only sketchy, but it's all over the place. Suddenly I can't remember any English words. So this is going. So this is kind of a disaster and a hot mess, but at least I'm back podcasting. And I'm going to start vlogmas, as I was saying, on Sunday. I might record tomorrow a bit, but I'm not sure. But I'm going to start vlogmas on Sunday. And that's what I have for now. Now I'm going to finish my coffee, edit this, and then keep on knitting on my Advent socks. I'll see you on Sunday. Bye bye.